Hey guys, I'm Eric.
I'm Tim.
I'm John.
We are D&A Miniature Board Games. So tonight we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a review of Legends of Andor, The Last Hope by Cosmos Games. For those of you who are not familiar with us, we score on graphics and artwork, components, rulebook, replayability, and fun. We have a scoring system of 1 to 5, with 3 being average, 1 being a piling... I can't talk tonight. We've just been playing for hours.
Words are hard.
Yes.
It's horrible, and 5 is outstanding.
Steaming pile of dung.
That's
Cow
right.
dung.
Cow dung.
Tim, you want to take graphics, bud?
I'm gonna say overall it was good. I liked the graphics and artwork. But do I think it was a perfect scoreable? I think some of it could have been better. The board could have been just a skosh more detailed. Some things are a little bit hard to see. And well, there's a lot of artwork, because even the components are artwork. But overall I gave it a 4. I thought it was really good. It's very unique with their characters and their displays. So I enjoyed it, so I gave it a 4.
John?
Graphics and artwork, I'd scored this on 3. The reason why I went with 3 was I felt it was, the colors to me were dark. The artwork, just on the different standees, a lot of different areas just didn't have detail that you would just want to see on all of them. Some of the figures, they were a little more clear, but if I have to look really close to try to see who's male and female when I'm picking my character, it weighs it down. The cards, a lot of the cards and the other component, but for the graphics and artwork, with it just being text, yeah, it was good because it was text and it had bold. But that's why I stuck with the 3.
So graphics, I gave a 3 to the graphics. I really liked the look of the board. I thought it was very nicely done, and I liked some of the stuff on the components. I just thought it failed where there was really no. It was just so basic on the legend cards themselves, and we got the picture of the hero on the dashboard for them. What really hurt this, though, I felt, was on the board itself, where the fog tokens go. It's very hard to find all those circles. There should have been something to define them a little better. Instead of like a very light white, maybe made them like a red.
It's not even white, it's more of a gray.
Yeah. But so it stood out. I mean, the biggest issue is they don't stand out on the board. It's hard to see them. And when you're doing the initial setup, even the caves, we were like, is there any more caves on there? It needs to be more defined on the board. But I gave graphics a 3. I'm going to go ahead with components. I guess we'll just go back and forth. I gave components a 4. I am never really a big fan of standees, but I like one thing they did with this, which was that the color coding of the creatures. Like, you got the skeletons one color, you got the creatures from the first legend that we were running are in red. The characters have the different color codings, and those color codings go to all their tokens and even their dice, so that when you grab a character, you're grabbing everything of that color. And that's the most dice you'll ever use. Like how I was using the warrior, and I had the blue dice. Her card only goes up to 4, but you were using the archer, and yours goes up to 5. You had 5 green dice. I like that. I thought that was well thought out with the components, and I believe Tim was the wizard had one purple die.
That's right.
So, and as far as like the thickness of the dashboards and the card stock, the dashboards and everything were pretty thick. They're going to stand up with time. I think you could throw them across the room and it wouldn't damage them. The cards, are they really thick? No, but then again, how many times are you going to go through the... You could go through the same legend by playing different heroes, but really, once you've gone through that legend, you've kind of gone through it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I gave components 4. John?
Back to me. Components, I gave it a high 3. Not that we rate on that it's a 3.
Give it a 3+.
It's 3+ with a half smiley face. To me, while some of the components do seem like they'll stand the test of time, it didn't have anything that stood out extremely well. The stands that Eric was talking about as far as their color coding, I'll actually reference that later in another category.
No, me? I also gave it a 3. I think the one thing that brought it to a 3 versus a 4 for me is the cards. They seem pretty thin. With as much as you're going to be flipping these things back and forth, I see them getting wore out. Anytime you have a deck of cards, they're going to get bent, and these are pretty flimsy. Now the dashboards are good. The board is good. The standees are good. I actually kind of wish that this had been a game where they'd done minis, because the artwork for these critters and the heroes is really stellar. So I can only imagine what they would have looked like in resin. So I think they could have done better with that. But for the type of game it is and the overall, I think it's very adequate for this game. No, I don't need it, man. I remember everything.
Okay. Rulebook?
Oh, I gave the rulebook a 2. I just thought it was kind of piecemeal. And I guess because of the type of game, it doesn't appeal to me because of it's a as you go type game. So I'm trying to figure stuff out, and we're using stuff we're not supposed to be using, but we have to use it. I don't know. So I thought it could have been better.
Rulebook.
Who said you were next?
I did, and so did they. That's right. Now, Rulebook, I gave Rulebook a 4 on this one, and the reason why I did that is if you've done some of the other stuff from Cosmos, also does exit games, the different things. This type of game here, the Rulebook is not extremely set up. You're going to know everything in the rulebook because they have it set for the adventure part that you find it as you go. So with that part, I felt that while there was a few areas in going through that you had to recheck and look over, some of that I felt was because I like to know what's going on, but as you're playing even the basic level, it's really don't look ahead. Just keep it to right here. Learn the basics. Okay. Now, as you get into your other event cards or as you're going into your legend cards, it's going to explain more as you go. You're going to be able to see the different dynamics of the game. Like the standees, like the red color, you wouldn't have thought anything of it, but that actually tied into, in the rule book, it said, okay, it just explained to you on the board, you're going to know based upon the color that's where it rated things. So it used visual aids so that you're able to just follow through with the rules. So I I liked it in the sense that it wasn't extremely complicated, and that it still surprised you, because there was stuff that I still don't know yet because we haven't gotten to that part in the Legends. We haven't battled that far. So I like the mystery, the mystique.
The wonder.
I gave Rulebook a 3. I thought it was to the point. I think that reading the first couple pages of that introductory rulebook, and then if you go into the next one, it says that you don't need to look in it, but you really do need to look into it, because there are things in here that you need to know, even though it says you don't need to know them. It's kind of like a lot of the fog tokens and things of that nature.
It's frustrating.
I did like the fact that as you went through, you learned more rules and more rules as the legend was going, because it added to the rules. But the frustration, like the first time we played, like a couple weeks ago, of, well, how the heck do you play this? Because the first introductory really doesn't explain it well, that you will learn everything as you go. I think if they just added that little bit more, I know it may have said something to that effect, but I think they need to elaborate more on it.
It was so basic though. It was so basic that you were just supposed to literally turn page by page and only do what's on there, which if you play games as much as we do and like to play games, you want to know more. You think there's more of an in-depth strategy. I think
And there wasn't, and they need to explain that better. But I gave Rulebook a 3. Replayability. I put replayability at 4. There's several legends in the one game you can play. There are 2 other games that have more legends, the 1 and 2. You can actually play different heroes if you want and go back through the legends. I don't know if that's good or bad. Because I think once you get through the legend, I'm not really sure how much you'd want to play it again, because you know what's going to transpire. Now, what changes that, though, is like the cave tokens, the fog tokens, and the spring tokens. You're not really sure what is where on the board. And there are times that you have got to find, apple nuts.
It's all about the apple nuts.
It's all about the apple nuts, folks. But I gave replayability a 4.
It all begins and ends with apple nuts.
Not applesauce, apple nuts. Replayability.
It actually says that in the rulebook. It begins and ends with apple nuts.
Yeah, yes. Wow. I just thought we began and ended everything there with the apple nuts. No, replayability. I gave replayability a 4. For a lot of the stuff that Eric was just saying. Just while there's enough legends to keep going, you can also go online. You can make custom legend cards. There's additional resources that you can print off if you do finish all the legends that are here. But even going back, like you mentioned, you have your event cards, so you're gonna get your any type of random going on with your event, as well as putting out the different tokens, the cave tokens, the fog tokens, and if you use a different character, you also are gonna get a different gameplay. You may not be the Uber or the Lyft character carrying everyone around. You may do more battling, or so with that, I definitely felt it was a strong 4.
I didn't fight one creature.
That's hard for you, isn't it?
It is.
Because you're worthless.
Yeah.
Well, I gave replayability a 3. The funny thing is I gave it a 3 for the same reason that you guys gave it a 4. And while playing the other legends will be fun, as far as going back and replaying, once you figure out the strategy, because I seriously doubt on your first round, the first time you try and play, which one we do, Legend 11. The first time you play Legend 11, I don't think you're not gonna win.
We got our tails handed to us the first couple
I don't
times we
think
played
you're gonna
11.
Yeah.
And it's once you learn the strategy. Now, did we learn the strategy the first time? No, we still screwed up on the second one. Some people just, They won't listen. Some people. But I think once you figure out the strategy,
Is he talking to me?
I can't hear you.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about you.
I don't listen.
But I think
apple nuts.
I think it definitely has a decent replayability. But is it something that you would want to, replay regularly? Maybe not. But then again, maybe.
I have the loudest house in the world.
Today you do, yes.
So, Tim, you're going to take fun?
I'll take the fun out of anything.
Yeah, we know.
I gave fun a 4. I think the game is very entertaining. It can get drawn out because strategy, you're trying to make a plan and then arguing with your teammates about the plan. But I think overall it is it's definitely above average for fun. It's something that I would like to play Legend 12, 13, 14 to whatever it goes to, just to check out what all happens. I'm invested in Andor at this point.
So you want to replay?
No,
The
I
game.
want to continue to have fun with the game. Replaying it, no. We beat this first one. Let's move on.
Well, be kind of hard. John's already moved all of his tokens off there. We have no idea what he had.
Why'd you do that, John? Oh, that's me.
Your turn, John.
Yes, I'm up. So, fun, I went with a 4 for fun. It was enjoyable. As much as it goes on in movement and the strategy, there's still that mystery that we were talking about. So you don't know what's going to happen. You want to find out. The story just keeps,
Unraveling?
yeah, you could say that.
Spiraling out of control?
Yes, it just smacks you across the face. It's coming at you. No, I really did have fun doing that. And, I mean, hey, if you can have fun playing it where you want to keep learning what goes on in the story, that's what brings you back to, okay, let's open it up, let's go on, let's find out. We got to finish this quest and find out, do they make the bridge next? Does the bridge collapse? Do they all die?
Where does the wagon come in?
Yes, I want the wagon. Or does it just
Fade away.
So yeah, it was
Like
fun.
L.A. Just fades away. God, you guys are so young. Alright, so my score for fun, I gave it a 4. I had a good time. I think
Hey, we
that...
agreed on something.
Well, it's got that... We like...
Shorts.
We like the cooperative games. And this game, you really had to work as a team. You did have to formulate a strategy on how you were going to complete every single thing. And it's like they said, I became the lift driver because mine could pick up a character and it didn't burn their time. And I was transporting people all over the game board. But
And you liked
that's
it.
how we were able to accomplish a lot of the missions. Did I do anything whatsoever in the whole game this time? No. The last time, yes, but we lost the last time.
We learned our lesson.
We did. We got smacked around the last couple times we played.
Keep him out of it.
But this time, and I think the difference too is that we had the 4th player. Last
Yeah.
few times we played, it was just the 3 of us,
Yeah.
and you need the 4 player.
Three makes it kind of difficult.
Now it's less quests you have to do, but it turns into, like with this, we found that you almost have to have 2 people stay by the camp. You need that.
No, don't give away strategy, man. Let them figure it out.
Yeah.
Watch the playthrough, maybe.
It's not fair. It's not fair for them to just sit there and watch the review and know how to,
Yeah.
nah.
Be masters. You need to go through and learn how.
You're going to be invested in Andor too.
That's right. You can be the real Last Hope.
You can be an Andorian just like us.
Andorian?
Andorian?
Andor, yeah, that's what it said.
Okay.
Andorian.
Oh,
We're Andorians.
all right.
Not the Star Trek ones
I
either.
didn't think we were Andories. No.
Was it Andories? It was Andorians.
Andorian? I guess what.
I was an archer, that's all I know.
Hey, but yeah, I gave it a 4. I enjoyed it. I had a good time, and I had a good time because I think everybody was having a good time. And we get games like that, but every once in a while we get one that maybe 1 or 2 people isn't having a good time, and it kind of drags down for the others involved. But this one I didn't feel it. I think everybody, even Miss I am jet lagged tonight, was having a good time playing. But I give it a 4. Total score? Drum roll. 3.5.
Oh, that was close.
3.5 for Andor, a little bit above average. But yeah,
It's a fun game.
Yeah.
It's a fun game. Check it out.
So, Legend of Andor, The Last Hope by Cosmos Games, 3.5. As always, guys, support your local gaming. We support
Discover Games.
Fayetteville, Georgia.
Game on, guys.
Game on, folks.
Game on.
Game on.
And on.
3.5.
And on.
Cosmos
Andor.
Games.
Cosmos. Thanks you, Cosmos.
Discover
Discover.
Games. Fayetteville, Georgia.
Game on.
Game on.
Journey Games, Cosmos, thank you.
John, Tim, and Eric.
Andor.
And
Legend.
Last Hope.
Game on.
Game on, folks.
Apple Nuts.
Atlanta.